Fellas, AC here. Welcome to another review. Now, recently I was reviewing Hugo Boss Bottled Absolute, Absolute, I should say, which didn't impress me much. And it was trying to do the fruity leather thing, which is, I would believe staunchly, that was basically that yardstick was set with Tuscan leather way back in 2007 or 2008. And Tuscan leather brought in the concept of marrying fruits with masculine leather to create a beautiful scent sensation. So Tuscan leather used raspberry with leather. Now, I've reviewed Tuscan leather. Then Tom Ford followed that with ombre leather, that is amber and leather. That is also a very nice line. So that line, that idea or concept is being sort of utilized by various houses, and Hugo Boss has tried to do that badly, in my opinion. But there's another fragrance which was released this year, much earlier than Hugo Boss, and that is also trying to do the fruit and leather thing with spices, and it's a very nice fragrance. I quite enjoyed it, and it's called K by Dolce Gabbana. This is the third in line. So K by Dolce Gabbana Eau de Parfum Intense. So I've tried the EDP, I believe, and I've tried this one. I haven't tried the original K, which came out a couple of years ago. Didn't meet with a lot of warm reception, but when I tried this fragrance, I was very impressed way back in spring of this year, but I couldn't review it for some reason. But now that I've reviewed Hugo Boss Absolute, I thought I should be reviewing this, because this is basically trying to do the same thing. I've got a nice dry down, so I wouldn't waste another spray. There's quite a bit of spray left, because I can later on do some comparison videos and stuff like that. So I've tested it 4 or 5 times across seasons, so spring, autumn, and now winter. And I've quite enjoyed testing this fragrance. And I'm going to walk you through the scent first. So when you first spray it, it smells like it is an ambroxan fragrance. It's fruity ambroxan. So this came out in 2024, and this is the latest incarnation of the K line, before I forget the basics. And once you first spray it, you feel as if you've sprayed an ambroxan fragrance. It's a very rich ambroxan, very thick, the kind you get in Dior Sauvage Parfum, which is one of my favorite fragrances. I enjoyed that ambroxan. But let it settle, and then you get the notes that you should be getting, which is a very nice and ripe fig. In about 5 minutes, you'll start to smell that fig, and it's very ripe, very fruity and fleshy with ambroxan, slightly woody nuances. In about half an hour to 1 hour, depending on your skin chemistry and the weather conditions, you will start to get a nice citrusy, sweet citrusy smell, which is basically blood orange and Sicilian lemon. Those are 2 citruses at the top, but you don't smell them when you first spray it. You smell them later on, depending on your skin chemistry and your weather conditions. And that smell of lemon with figs and blood orange is combined with the smell of saffron. Very briefly, that saffron is fruity, foody saffron. And that saffron has this texture, and in many fragrances, saffron can be used to create many nuances, and that's why it's a very complex note. Here, it has this foody, spicy sort of a texture, but saffron can be used to create a soapy nuance, which is what happens. And this dry down is about 1.5 hours old, and this is where the fragrance turns fruity, a little jammy, like a fig jam, with ambroxan, which is ambery woody, and a little soapiness, and new leather. And leather is not like a leather jacket, but it's just a distinct smell of leather, new leather, which has not been manufactured, but new leather. It's leathery texture. And saffron can be used to do that as well. So saffron can do leather, saffron can do fruits, saffron can do spices, saffron can do soapiness, and it's a tremendously versatile spice, and they've used it beautifully here. And that brings me to another fragrance I've reviewed in the past, and which is one of my absolute favorite fragrances, but I don't have it in my collection. I didn't buy it then, and now it's more than twice the price. And it's called Safari Extreme by Abdul Samad Al Qureshi. It's even better than ombre leather. I rank it better and higher than ombre leather. So it's Tuscan leather with Safari Extreme. This is where I'll put it. And it uses saffron and fruits and leather. A very, very beautiful fragrance. Very creative, very well made. And this one is not like Safari Extreme, or it's not like Tuscan leather. It's got no comparisons, but it's trying to do that multifaceted thing that saffron does, and it's really successful in doing that. When the fragrance dries down in about 1.5 to 2 hours, or maybe even 3, it brings in a creamy woodiness. So it's more like a nondescript creaminess to it. It's not sandalwood, but it's creamy and nice. And that's the scent journey. So it's like a fruit jam with a little soapiness, little citruses, and woody warmth. So now let's talk about ups and downs. So number one upside is this fragrance has got tremendous performance. You're going to get more than 8 hours of longevity, a great amount of projection for about 1.5 hours, and sillage. It's a very thick, dense smell, but also very high quality. So you're going to get, if you spray it on your shirt, you'll get a nice little scent cloud around you, at least half an arm's length. So people walking into your scent bubble will smell you. Good performance. The other side of the fragrance, the upside, is that this fragrance, because of its beautiful use of various notes and its high use of ambroxan, is quite sexy. It has this very attractive sexiness about it. You can easily wear this to a date night scent, as a date night scent, and impress your new girlfriend or your existing girlfriend or your wife. So it has this beautiful sexiness about it. It's very handsome and sexy kind of a smell. Downsides. Ambroxan plays a much higher role than what is advertised by the fragrance's branding. I was not expecting so much ambroxan, but ambroxan, it's very heavy use of ambroxan. And that could be a downside because some people don't like and are probably bored of ambroxan. So ambroxan plays a much higher role. Second downside, leather plays very little role, which is what I was expecting. I was really interested with that fruity leather thing. So leather plays a very little role. And because of fragrance's price, I was expecting more role from the leather. And then the third one is bothering me because it seems temperamental. Some days it smells really awesome. Some days it smells like an ambroxan scent. So it's slightly temperamental depending on your body chemistry. And the last one, downside, is because of that ambroxan and fig combining together to create 70% of the scent DNA, it smells a little unisex, little feminine leaning unisex, which can bother some people. So those are the 4 downsides. Value for money. Currently, it's available anywhere between 65 and 100 pounds for 100 ml. The value for money is low for that sort of price. If you can get it for 50 pounds for 100 ml, it would be quite a decent fragrance. Age groups. This fragrance has this quality of youthfulness, smartness, modernity, and those are the attributes I would associate with a younger generation. So anywhere between 20 and 35 would be the sweet spot for this fragrance. It smells youthful, sexy, warm, comforting, confident. Those are the things that a person who's looking for external gratification would want in their fragrance. So 20 to 35 would be sweet spot, but you can wear this if you like the notes I mentioned. Compliment factor, pretty decent. It smells quite sexy. It's quite unisex, so women wouldn't have to adjust their noses for your fragrance because they'll be quite used to these notes like woodiness and ambroxan, very, very attractive to ladies. Fig, leather, slight leather, no animalic, no skank. Little soapy cleanness. You'll definitely get a compliment with this fragrance. And especially if you're dressing it up and if you're wearing it at a sort of a nighttime event. So that brings me to the next point. When do you wear this? Seems like a nighttime scent. So parties, get together, jamming with your friends, clubbing, dates, quite easily, Can you wear this to work? You could. If you keep the sprays low, you can wear this to work as well. It's quite attractive, so definitely you can wear this to work. I've covered value for money, seasons. Okay, seasons. Temperamental fragrance. But I think the best season for this fragrance is autumn. It smelled the best when I was testing this in October. It's smelling half as nice as this because of the cold weather, and the other lighter notes are not able to come out, and ambroxan seems to be gunning out a bit more. So I think autumn is the best, and fig smells amazing. Fruity fragrances smell amazing in autumn. So autumn is the best season for this, I would say. But you can wear this in 3 seasons: winter, autumn, and spring evenings. I loved it in spring as well. So how many marks am I going to give it? This is a nice fragrance. I enjoyed it. There are 4 downsides I mentioned. Price is a bit too high, less complexity, less leather than I would have liked. In spite of all of that, it's a very well-made scent. It's good blending, good quality of materials, good performance, and smells interesting. You will not get bored of this scent. It is an interesting fragrance. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 I think is fair. And I'm hoping you really enjoyed this review. If you did, do give it a like. Take care.